This story is based on a real tragedy, the earthquake in the Chinese city of Tangshan, one of the most destructive in the 20th century. But the film shows not so much the disaster as the price of a mother's choice. On July 27, 1976, the city of Tangshan was going about its usual business. It was a hot day, with dragonflies flying above the tracks, and twins Feng Da and Feng Deng were returning home with their father in a truck. While he was leaving for the factory, the children turned on a new fan and enjoyed the coolness. A simple happiness that did not last long. At night, the parents go outside. The father repairs the car. The mother shines a flashlight. They joke and laugh. And suddenly, the earth begins to shake. Fish jump out of the aquarium. Dishes fall from the shelves. In an instant, the city turns into hell. Houses collapse. A crane falls right before their eyes. The ground cracks under their feet. At that moment, the twins wake up in the apartment. The sister sees the house across the street collapse like a house of cards. They scream, trying to get out, but the impact brings down the ceiling. Their parents rush home. Their father rushes inside. And in that same second, the building collapses, right in front of his wife's eyes. When morning comes, Tangshan is a pile of rubble. The woman is faced with an impossible question: who to save? She screams, prays, demands that both be pulled out, but there is no time. Her silent daughter does not make a sound, and the mother, with a heavy heart, chooses her son. The girl is presumed dead. Li Yuan holds back her tears because her son needs help. His arm is seriously injured. She leaves, leaving her daughter among the dead bodies. But fate decides otherwise. Little Fang Deng survives. She is found by soldiers of the Chinese People's Liberation Army, the married couple Wang Deqing and Dong Yilan. The girl remembers nothing. Not her name, not her home, not what she has been through. The soldiers decide to adopt her and give her a new name, Yaya. Years pass, and Yaya grows up in her new family, forgetting her past. But somewhere out there, in the ruined city, her mother still blames herself for that choice, and her son lives with only one arm, having lost not only his sister, but also his mother's peace of mind. When the dust settles, Tangshan tries to get back on its feet. Workers clear the rubble and rebuild houses. Li Yuan meets her mother and sister, but there is no joy. The city has become a graveyard of memories. She decides to stay and help rebuild Tangshan, sending her son to relatives so that he can at least grow up away from the pain. The bus is already leaving, but the boy suddenly asks to stop and runs back to his mother. Because no matter how much destruction there is around, for a child, home is where his mother is. Years passed. China was no longer what it had been in 1976. After Mao Zedong's funeral, the country changed rapidly, and with it, the people. In 1986, Tangshan was rebuilt from the ruins. But for Li Yuan, who survived the earthquake, the city remained a graveyard of memories. She raised her son alone. Feng Da grew up, but contrary to his mother's dreams, he did not want to study. Why go to university when you can earn money right away? He rides a bicycle rickshaw, laughing at book knowledge, while his mother just sighs and visits the place where their house once stood every year to talk to her husband and daughter, whom she lost in the disaster. Meanwhile, Fan Dan, the surviving sister, lives a different life with her adoptive family. She is tormented by nightmares in which her relatives drive by without noticing her. The girl grows up, finishes school, and dreams of becoming a doctor. Her adoptive mother fears that once she enters university, Ye will forget the parents who saved her. At medical school, Fan Dan meets a young student, and feelings blossom between them. Meanwhile, Fan Dan, tired of her mother's lectures, leaves to seek happiness in the big city. Li Yuan is worried, but can't do anything about it. To avoid running to the market to answer the phone, she installs her own telephone, which was rare at the time. Her neighbor, a good-natured merchant who has long had feelings for the widow, helps her install the phone. He repairs her appliances, has dinner with her, and even offers to live with her. But Li remains faithful to her late husband. Her love has long since turned into a vow of remembrance. One day, Fan Dan's adoptive father comes to visit her. He is brought to the university by a bicycle rickshaw, the same Fan Da who does not know who he is carrying. They talk about the earthquake, but have no idea that their fates are bound by blood ties. In the dormitory, she learns that her adoptive mother is dying. The girl rushes home, and before her death, her mother asks her, "If you can, go back to Tangshan. Maybe someone from your family is still alive." But Fan Dan cannot make a decision. She returns to her studies, where she learns that she is pregnant. Her boyfriend demands that she have an abortion. His career, his diploma, his plans. But the girl chooses life. She drops out of university and disappears without a trace, leaving behind a past in which she was rejected twice, by her mother and her lover. Almost 10 years pass. It is now 1995. Tangshan has become a modern city. Feng Da is now a successful entrepreneur. He brings his fiancée to meet his mother and convinces her to move to the city, at least to a new apartment. But Li Yuan is stubborn. She feels closer to the old walls, where everything is steeped in memories. She doesn't want to forget the way home, even if that home stands among the ruins of the past. After the wedding, quarrels begin in the young family. The daughter-in-law is unhappy that her mother-in-law lives in the old house and raises their child while they are busy with their own affairs. But Li does not complain. For her, her grandson has become a new meaning in life. By this time, Fan Dan is raising her daughter alone and working as a tutor. On Chinese New Year, she visits her adoptive father for the first time in a long time. He is happy to see not only her, but also his granddaughter. He cautiously suggests that she find her real family. After all, they may still be alive. But Fan Dan just lowers her eyes. She remembers everything. She remembers the day her mother chose her brother over her. And she cannot forgive her. Later, at the holiday table, the girl confesses that she will soon marry a foreigner. Thus, one circle of life ends, and another begins. It is 2008. More than 30 years have passed. Tangshan shines with the lights of the new China, and Fan Dan's business is thriving. Time seems to have healed the wounds of the country, but not the wounds of human hearts. They still bear the scars left by their mother's choice on that terrible night in 1976. Decades have passed. Tangshan has become a bustling, modern city again, and his son, Fan Da, has grown up to be a confident, wealthy man. In Canada, where Fan Dan now lives, a phone call from her husband disrupted her usual calm. The news reported a new earthquake. Looking at the images of destruction, the woman felt as if she had returned to her childhood. To that night, when the earth swallowed her home and separated their families. In a field camp, surrounded by tents, dust, and the cries of the victims, she put on a white coat and returned to work. The medical skills she had once acquired at university were now saving lives. But the hardest test was yet to come. The woman witnessed a mother agreeing to have her daughter's leg amputated to save her life. Later, overhearing a conversation between volunteers, Fan Dan freezes. Someone mentions a businessman who lost his arm in the earthquake and buried his father and twin sister. The world seems to freeze. She already knows who they are talking about. A few days later, she is on her way. The bus rushes through familiar landscapes. Across from her sits the man she has been avoiding for so long. Her brother. They are going to Tangshan, where it all began, and where they both have to finish an old story. An old childhood portrait, yellowed with age, hangs on the wall. Her brother picks it up. Now it can be taken down because the child who was thought to be dead has returned. Fan Dan notices a bowl of tomatoes on the table, and a tremor of recognition runs across her face. These tomatoes are a symbol of a childhood promise that was not fulfilled 32 years ago. Her mother says quietly, "I washed them for you. I didn't have time then." Then she kneels down. She asks for forgiveness, not with words, but with her whole being. The next morning, they go together to the memorial cemetery. Fan Dan's name is engraved on the tombstone. The one who was believed to be dead now stands over her grave. Among the items are school notebooks and books. It turns out that her mother bought them every year, as if she believed that her daughter would one day return to school. Then, for the first time in many years, Fan Dan cries. Not from pain, but from relief. From the realization that her mother's love did not perish under the rubble, but was simply waiting to be noticed. The last shot is of the Tangshan Memorial Wall, on which more than 240,000 names are carved. A sea of human destinies, destroyed in a matter of seconds. That's where the film ends.